My name is Chris Ryder and this video is about how to fit the skirt tank, which is an underfloor water tank, into a T5. The tank is made by a company called CAK, which stands for Caravan Accessories Kenilworth, but I'm sure everybody just refers to them as CAK. CAK actually makes 3 different tanks that go under the floor of the T5. One of them goes between the rear wheels, but I can't use that one because that's where my leisure battery is. The other one goes underneath the step to the driver's door. That's what they call the step tank, but I can't put mine there because I've got a diesel heater there, and the idea of having something that gets very hot next to something made of plastic is probably an unwise move. So the only option I've got is to fit this one, which is the smallest of the tanks made by CAK at 21 litres. But even so, this is a 2-litre water bottle. And look, I mean, it's still a fair amount of water, and for the trips I'm going to do, this will be handy. If that's 2 litres and that tank is 20 litres, it's really good to not have to find storage space in the van for 10 of these. So, what's in the kit? Obviously, you get the tank. At the end here, these are the spigots that you're going to put the hoses onto. Because it's a tank I'm going to use it for drinking water, so I've put this plastic over it because I don't want debris getting into my own drinking water tank. Also included in the kit is a metre of this convoluted blue hose, 40mm internal diameter, food grade hose. There is a filler cap, and there is a drain valve. Drain valve, there you go. This lot we'll put to one side. What you also get is some metal brackets and some hooks. These metal brackets, when they supply these brackets, they are made from mild steel, which will rust very easily. So I have brush painted them with Hammerite. That just means that they'll last a few years longer before they rust away to nothingness. You do not get any instructions with this kit, which is why it's been bloody difficult to work out what it is, and which is why I like to think I'm doing the T5 world a favour by making this video to explain it. But if you get on the email to sales at Leisure Lines, who are the support people for the tanks, you get this PDF sent to you. This page is all about the step tank, so we can ignore it. And in fact, the skirt tank is only from here onwards. So these 4 photographs is all the instructions that you get from CAK. So you're on your own in terms of working out how it works. Right now, the most important picture is this one here. Look at these pictures of the hooks. Now, they've got the brackets labelled as front and rear, but each of these hooks is slightly different. You see, one's longer, got a longer bent section, and shorter than the other, open ends, less open. So I've laid these out at my van. So these are the 2 for the rear, and these are the 2 for the front. So let's get started. It's fucking filthy under there, and there's loads of stuff falls in your eyes. Wear eye protection. First thing to do, get your van up onto jacks and remove the underskirts that go along this side here, the plastic under trays. Right. I'm now going to go under the van. This is the view from underneath the van. looking forward, there's the wheel, that's the engine. So you can see that there is this corner section here which corresponds to that corner on the van. These white valves are allow the tank to be filled up, so they're a kind of an overflow valve. These stubs of spigots for the pipe go at the back. Luckily for me, it's bloody handy, I can tell you. It's really handy, especially if you're working on your own, to find something to prop the tank onto. And rather conveniently, this bit of wood happens to be just the right height. Now, I'm going to show you where the holes that you've got, where the holes are. Right, there's your silencer as a reference point. At the back of the silencer, this is me now looking at the rear mounting bracket. You will see that you've got this long slot here and this hole in your chassis rail. What you've got to do is the hook with the long bend goes through there. You only have to drill one hole. So there's your, so in a line with that hole there. The hooks themselves are 8mm diameter, so I drilled this hole at 10mm because you've got to wiggle it in from the side. And this black stuff is wax oil that I sprayed on last summer to prevent the bodywork rusting, but what it also does is it means that your centre punch and your drill slide all over the place. So it's a messy hole, but I got there. The front holes of the tank, right, this white ring here is around one of these grommets. So you take one of these grommets off and you hang the tank from here, and opposite that you see you've got a big fat hole here, and you've actually got a smaller hole here as well. I can get the hook into that smaller hole there. It lines up beautifully with that hole there. So you're basically hanging the front end of the tank from there, and the back end of the tank you're hanging from there and there, and the hole that you drilled on the other side. Right, you can see that I've got the 4 hooks in hanging. Next thing I'm going to do is try and just get the tank up the middle of all of this. That job on its own requires 3 hands, and I don't have a 4th hand to hold the camera, so I'm just going to have to switch the phone off and manhandle it into position. You'll just have to imagine how it works. Right, that is the tank in place. So you can see it sits a little bit lower than the floor. I've got a roll of this 3mm thick rubber left over from another job, so I reckon it's a wise precaution to just protect the tank from vibration by putting those there, but that is probably overthinking it, and belt and braces. The kit doesn't get supplied with any nuts. These are plain nuts because it's an awful lot easier to fit them on at the moment. I'm going to take them off one at a time and replace them with stainless nylock nuts, so they won't shake undone. But that basically is the tank in. So then your next question is going to be, where are you going to run the hoses? let's move across a bit. So, I happen to have a long wheelbase van. I don't know how you would do it with a short wheelbase. So we're now looking at the tank there. That's the spigots of the pipe, and to the right over here is the back wheel. So front of van is that way, back of van is that way. This here, now my van's a shuttle, so this curve here is actually the inside of the step of the twin sliding door. And I've done lots and lots of looking, and I've spent an awful lot, I've spent several hours underneath the van trying to figure out where I can run the hoses up. And the answer is through this section of floor here. So you've got one chassis rail here, and you've got a chassis rail here with a great big triangular section on it here because it's the support of the, I don't know, is that a wishbone? Anyway, this is the section that we're going to cut through or drill through to run the hoses up. Let's have a look from the inside. So we're now inside my van. Remember I pointed out the curve inside the step where the wheel arch is. Basically this space here is what you get in a long wheelbase that you don't get in a short. And I'm going to run the hoses here. Now, my first intention was to run the hoses down the inside between the outer bodywork skin and the inner trim where you're going to ply line it. And I did think that I could run hoses down there and through there, and I'd be able to pop another one of those grommets out so the hose run could be entirely hidden. Long story short, that's not possible because this bulkhead here that my fingertip is on here on the inside doesn't have a hole in it. So I'd be looking at going through the grommet on the chassis underneath and then drilling through here, and this hose is 40mm external diameter. It's flipping massive. So that idea was out, and I've been pretty damn confused as to what to do ever since. Now, if you are going to be having a kitchen on this side and units, then it's dead easy but I don't intend to. I'm going to be having it straight sides and a full width bed. So I'm having a kitchen pod up at the front rather than having the full width here. So I wanted to do something neat at the back here, and I've spent days and days looking at it. And the answer is, I reckon you have two options for getting the water into the tank. So what you've got to consider is where are you going to locate your filler cap. Filler cap also has a 40mm spigot on it. So if you have a kitchen going in here, dead easy, you can put this there somewhere, bolt it to your bodywork. You can run the hose from there inside, inside and down. Oh yeah, don't be like me, do this job before you install the insulation. Fortunately it peels off easily, but it's still a double handling a piece of work there, so that wasn't my finest moment, but hey, I don't do this for a living. This is the first T5 I've built, so it's only my second ever van, so I don't do it for a living. So yeah, option one, if you have a cupboard here, drill into that outside wall there, and you can run it down here, and you can drill through the floor. So I've got a rubber floor here, which is brilliant. It's way better than the carpet. But look, it's just that's a steel floor. You can drill through there. You could have your supply, your filler pipe can go there, and there's room also for the feed up to the tap as well. However, you have option two, which would be quite neat, and that involves, have you heard of the secret door modification? Google secret door T5, but basically there's a way of putting your hose point here I'm not going to do this. I'm going to put my electric hook up here. But what you could do, if you put your hose point here, you can then run the hose down the inside, Now look down there. Can you see there is a gap? In there. You can't get a 40mm hose into that gap because I've tried, but you can get, I bet you can get a 25mm hose into there. And you could then run your 25mm hose through there, so it'd be along here, along the top of the wheel arch, down through there. It could come out here, and you could have a nice little plumber's elbow, a nice little 90-degree elbow here, so you could have a really neat little thing going into there. Then if you wanted to cover it over, well, I'm ply lining. I've got a ply lining kit that goes here, and there's loads of spare ply. You can make a nice bit of spare ply to cover over that if you wanted to. But I reckon what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to extend my wheel arches along. I'm going to be putting, I'm going to just do it down here at a low height, so below the top of the wheel arch. And as long as the filler cap is above the top of the tank, it will fill all the way up. The reason why I don't want to run water through here is, remember I told you my my battery's underneath the floor between the wheels. This is where it comes up into the van. I'm going to have my electric hook up here. These are my solar panel cables coming down from the top, so this is electrical corner, and I don't want water mixing along close to my electricals corner. Anyway, I hope this is useful to you. It's taken me several days of looking at this, crawling all over it and figuring it out, and if anybody else is helped along by this, then I hope that's great. Thank you all. Bye.